Hello, how are you doing? My name is Todd McLaughlin. I'm here at Native Yoga Center in Juno Beach, Florida. Today, I want to show you some tips and tricks on how to practice Padmasana, Lotus, which can turn into what's called Baddha Padmasana, and also Baddha Padmasana bound Lotus can turn into the folding forward position, which is called Yoga Mudra. Sometimes you hear Yoga Mudrasana, the yogic seal, like a stamp, like where we seal the body together, maybe even seal the forehead or the chin on the floor. All right, so for beginners, yoga for beginners, if you're brand new to yoga and or you are new to the Ashtanga yoga practice, this pose comes as the finishing series of Ashtanga yoga. I'm excited because today I conclude or come to the end of my tutorials on all the primary series poses of the Ashtanga yoga primary series. So check out my library on YouTube, Native Yoga Center. And you'll find, if you go into the Ashtanga Yoga Tutorials playlist, I have a video for every single pose in the routine. And we've made it all the way here to Yoga Mudra and or Baddha Padmasana. So in the beginning, what we needed to be able to attempt to do is sit on the floor with crossed legs. So yoga, an easy way to do this, the Yoga Mudra, and or the bound is to take the arms behind the back, grab a hold of the forearms, have a cross-leg position, and lean the body forward. So pretty simple, really. I mean, the main thing is to be able to sit in the cross-leg position. If you have a hard time sitting, if you go to sit cross legs and it feels like you're hanging on with your hands on your knees, and if you were to let go, you would fall back. And you have to really engage your hip flexors and your abs to kind of keep yourself in position. Then just take a blanket or a prop that is high enough that will enable you to get your hips high enough that when you cross your legs, you can sit with a straight up and down spine. On that note, what we're doing in the Baddha Padmasana, eventually the Baddha references bound and Padma references lotus. Right now, I do not have my legs wrapped in lotus. I have easy pose called Sukhasana. Easy pose because you're just sitting easily, easy style cross legs. And the Baddha part we won't do yet either because we have to have the lotus to be able to grab the feet. So the way we'll start the Baddha Padmasana and turn it into Yoga Mudra is by practicing here. And don't be intimidated if you are not able to get your head down to the floor. That's natural. So all we're going to do in the beginning is just sit cross legs. You remove your arms from leaning. If you need to lean, if you have knee pain, you can use your arms. You can lean forward. You can place your hands forward on the mat and control your ability to lean forward. In some cases, if you're having a really hard time getting cross-legged and sitting straight up, you might have to lean back on your hands to be able to sustain the position of cross legs to be able to sit here to begin with. When you're able to sit here in the beginning, then, or you're able to get your hands off the floor and sit relatively comfortable, this is where we're going to start to tip forward. So you just lean your body forward. Now what's happening here is gravity grabs a hold of the weight of the body leaning, and we just try to relax into that. This puts pressure into the stretch of the hips, the knees, and the ankles, this whole lower limb area, and also flexing in the spine and at the hips. So also the idea with Yoga Mudra is this idea at the end of the practice, we seal it up and kind of bring it to a close by offering this sort of respect to planet Earth. You can look at it any way you like. It could be like, I want to just show my appreciation for life, and so I'm going to fold forward and make a deep bow, so to speak. Now, the world of the lotus. Do you have knee pain? If you have knee pain, I suggest please be careful with lotus. Lotus pose is where half lotus. Let's start off with half lotus. Half lotus is you take, in this case, we're going to bring our left heel in close to the hip. The right foot I'm going to cross on top of the opposite leg. And I'm going to try to relax my right knee down and maybe land my big toe in between this little crease between my hamstring and calf. I'm going to attempt to land that in between and sit in what's called half lotus position, halfway. Now, if you can take your arms behind your back, you can practice the bound Padmasana here with the half lotus. I don't think, because bound Padmasana does involve taking the right arm behind the back and catching the foot. But in this case, because it'll twist you lopsided, I don't think that's a good idea, personally. I think keep the half lotus position and fold forward. If you have a better idea, you can trust your intuition. I'm just basing this off of what I practice and see. All right, so now the other way that you can do the balance aspect is that if you half lotus for 5 breaths with one foot on top, it makes sense to switch it. So you're now going to put pressure into the hip, the opposite hip joint, equal to what you did on the previous side, and fold forward in the half lotus and turn it into yoga mudra. If you are able to sit in lotus, that requires bringing one foot into the half lotus, having no knee pain, being able to bring your other foot close to the knee, no knee pain, and then slide the hand under the heel and coach the foot up on top, making this nice tight kind of crisscross lotus position. Now, if you have knee pain, I suggest don't do it. Honestly, I'm speaking from 24 plus years of practice on this method or in this style, and knee pain is real, and pushing on it doesn't always make it feel better, doesn't always fix it. Sometimes we need to do less pressure. It's important. Listen to your body. It's not worth trying to achieve the depth at the expense of long-term pain. All right, so if it's possible to get a deep lotus where the toes are able to kind of get up and around to the side, in the Baddha Padmasana, what we attempt to do, it's almost like you take a little bit of a back bend. Left arm goes behind first, and we try to get the left hand to grab a hold of the foot. And then the tricky one is to take the right arm. I find that by leaning forward so that when the hand comes behind, we can possibly grab the opposite foot. So my lotus isn't feeling terribly flexible right now. I do have a little bit of cranky knees, so I tend to go soft on this right now, just because what's the point in cranking on the knees if the rest of the day or you are in pain? So another way that this can be done is to take a strap, and I can grab a hold of the strap and use the strap as a way to, it's a little easier said than done to grab the strap, but I can now I have the strap and I can hang on to something, which will give me a little bit of leverage to pull on. And then I can work into the forward bend. Obviously, everything is depending upon, the sensation of the knees, the pressure on the knees, what you can handle. And this is a very advanced pose, often a lot easier if you have big range of motion in your hips, and we're at our smallest stature. When I get bigger, and I go over, like the holidays are coming, you go through the holidays, you eat a little more, you gain a little. This is hard. It's tough. So, be reasonable with where you are in relation to all of that, and just take it nice and slow and steady, and just, try to take really good care of yourself. That's the moral of the story. So remember, if you have the ability to do the lotus, you can make that wrap and bind. And a quick recap, just do it nice and simple for all of my beginners. Start off with a real simple cross-leg position, cross arms behind, and just start to lean and just get the benefit of getting grounded on the floor, breathing deep through your nose, filling your lungs and chest, getting a good overall vibe of like deep breathing, feeling grounded, practicing in a quiet environment where your mind can calm down. And this, in essence, is what the yoga can help us achieve. In terms of like achieving a really cool looking pose that looks like I'm a yoga master, I don't know about that anymore. Used to think that was cool. Not so much anymore. I'm a little more of a fan of take it easy, feel it, and imbibe good health, good vibes, feeling good, and just concentrate. Bring your attention. So into the present moment. This is the moral of the story. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, shoot them my way. My email is info@nativeyogacenter.com. Find me on my website, nativeyogacenter.com. I release a podcast every single Friday. Native Yoga Toddcast. Got a new guest every single week. I deliver you a new podcast every single Friday. I'm very consistent. I don't give up. I don't want you to either. Also, the other thing I have is a new course called 8 and 8, Learn the 8 Limbs of Yoga in 8 days. It's free. Check out the description and the link below. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. It helps us out immensely. Much appreciated. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.